Okay, part 2 of section 3.3 deals with finding the degree of a term and the degree of a polynomial. When we're referring to the degree of a term, okay, that means just the individual term of the polynomial. By definition, we say the degree of a term is the sum of the exponents of the variables within the term. Okay, so the sum of the exponents of the variables within a term. So if I give you a polynomial, for example, let's say if we have x squared plus x minus 5, you may be asked to classify, what type of polynomial is this? So we can say this is a trinomial. And then it may ask you for the degree of each term. Okay, well, I have 3 terms. The degree of x squared is just going to be 2 because that's the only variable we have is the x, and its exponent is a 2. Okay, what's the degree of the term x? Would just be 1. The degree of a constant, any term that doesn't have a variable, is always going to be a degree of 0. Okay, so if I have a polynomial that has more than one variable, let's say we have x squared y plus xy minus 2. It's still a trinomial, but because I have 2 different variables, I'm going to add the exponents of those variables. So x has an exponent of 2, y of 1, add them together, and that would be a degree of 3. Okay, understood 1, so that term would have a degree of 2. And then again, the constant would have a degree of 0. Okay, so if you're looking for just the degree of a term, you either look at just the exponent or add the exponents together if there's more than one variable within the term. Now the next thing is finding the degree of a polynomial. Okay, for the overall polynomial, we still have to look at the individual terms, but we say that the degree of the polynomial is the greatest of any term in the polynomial. Okay, so let's look at a few examples. If I have the polynomial negative 6x to the 4th plus 3x squared plus 5. Individually, if I wanted to find the degree of each term, I would say this term has a degree of 4, 3x squared has a degree of 2, 5 has a degree of 0. Okay, but if the question is, what is the degree of the overall polynomial, it's going to be the greatest degree of any of the terms. So I would say this polynomial has a degree of 4. Okay, so you look at the terms individually, but just the highest one is the degree of the polynomial. So again, let's say if I have x cubed minus 2xy minus 4x minus 5. This is a polynomial having 4 terms. Individually, if I look at the degrees, x cubed has a degree of 3, negative 2xy has a degree of 2, negative 4x has a degree of 1, negative 5 has a degree of 0. But the degree of the polynomial is 3, the highest of any of the terms. So we say this polynomial is of degree 3. So you always want to write your problems in descending order. We typically put the highest degree term first if we just have one variable, or we put the polynomials in order by just one variable in the problem, so that again it's written in that descending order. Okay, another example that you may see on the homework will be like this. They will give you a problem, 3x plus 11, give you a polynomial, and it will say, find the degree of the polynomial and tell what type of polynomial. So I want to know the degree, and I want to know what type of polynomial this is. Okay, so again, individually, 3x has a degree of 1, 11 has a degree of 0, so the degree of my polynomial would be 1. How many terms does this polynomial have? 3x is a term, 11 is a term, so it has 2 terms, which would be a binomial. So these are the types of problems that you will see on the homework. Let's say if we have 4x plus 5x cubed minus x to the 4th plus 8. Okay, this is not written in descending order. You can rearrange it if you want to, or you can just look at the polynomial. What is my highest term, highest degree term? It would be this negative x to the 4th, has the highest exponent, so we say this is of degree 4, and the type, okay, again it has 4 separate terms, so we say this is just a polynomial. It does not have a special name. Okay, we will have one more section on 3.3 that will finish up this section.